would you say coming to the UK is difficult or impossible for you to achieve great success as an international student? So everyone, welcome to the channel. I have the opportunity of interviewing someone who I've known for a long time. But the reason for this interview is because he came to the UK 2 years ago. So we're going to just have a conversation about what you need to know before coming and also what you need to know after. So your first few weeks or months in the UK, we're going to talk about that so you don't make the same mistake like we did, which I found that most people, when they come into a new country, they actually get confused, or maybe they don't even know what actually to do. So in this video, we'll be talking about that. So over to you, Kayode, and introduce yourself.
Of course, my name is Kayode. I am an aerospace engineering and graduate master's student from the University of Glasgow. And yeah, it's a pleasure being here today.
So when I know you've been to the UK twice.
Yeah.
So what brought you back again to the UK? Why not another country? What happened?
So yeah, of course, I went, just a quick background. I did my undergraduate in the UK the first time, University of Hertfordshire. And then about 2018, I took a break, went back to Nigeria to do National Youth Service.
Okay.
And then I spent about a year doing that. And then I started like a pre-master's course in Nigeria, which I did through to COVID. And then COVID caused issues, which meant I could only come back for my master's in about 2021. So January 2021 was when I came back for my master's. Yeah, so that's cool. The main reason I came back the second time, just for my master's.
Yeah. So the first question I'm going to ask you, because I know a lot of people, when they come to the United Kingdom, they actually come with a sense of, I want to study, which is good. But at the, let's say at the middle part of their study, they realize that, oh, there's an opportunity to stay. And that's when they realize, oh, I think it's too late. So I just wanted to just like chip in something, like what do you have to say about that, so that people who are coming into the United Kingdom to actually study, if you know you want to study, I feel you should focus on that. But if you have that idea of, oh, you want to also stay or get opportunity to stay in the country, then I think you should be able to like start doing that immediately you come. So what would you say are the advice you want to give to these people so they don't actually make that mistake of, oh, maybe the time is too short for them, or maybe they get confused and be like, I wish I knew this before that. So what will you say about that?
Okay, so this particular question really hits home because this is something that I wish personally that, you know, this is like a message to my past self. Like if I could tell myself like ages ago, I would say this, and that is plan and research. That is very important.
I like that.
Because honestly, you can kill two birds with one stone. So you can actually come here and say, I want to come to the UK and I want to study. At the same time, you know, simultaneously working towards staying, right? But the important part is you have to know like the processes involved in both. You have to know the pathway towards staying, and you have to know the pathway, like the job opportunities that are available for you to study. Really brief example is, you know, of course, I studied aerospace engineering, and one thing that I didn't find out about was what the role requires. And major part of the role of working as an aerospace engineer, especially in the United Kingdom, is governed by a high level of security clearances, especially when you're working in government-related roles. For example, you're working with missiles and rockets and so on and so forth, national security, sorry. So you require a certain level of security clearances and stuff. And I made the mistake of, you know, after university, I didn't really push for placements. Because my goal was, I came to study, I was going to go back to Nigeria and come back. And see, I made that mistake. So I went back to Nigeria, I spent a year out, and it turns out there's a policy that your stay, the length of your stay is invalidated when you come out of the UK for longer than a period of 6 months. So I didn't know that.
That's interesting.
Exactly. So I left the country for longer than 6 months at a time. And then, so all the years I had spent undergraduate
is wasted. No way.
So now I've returned back, and it's like
you starting all over again.
Yes, it's like I've only been here for 1 year, more or less, because you have your post study for 2 years, but that doesn't count towards your stay.
Wow.
Only your year of study counts towards your stay. So in the eye of the government, I've only been here for 1 year. But the SC clearance requires you to have been here for 3 years.
3 years.
Or like stay and be a citizen.
Okay.
So now it's like there are a lot of roles I'm trying to apply for, but I just can't get it.
That's interesting, guys.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, I hope you're paying attention, because right now you also made mention of getting placement. So that means placement is important.
Yes.
But also when you get your placement, you also realize that if you like traveling, you should be in the UK for 6 months.
Yes.
Anything more than that, you're starting all over again.
Yeah.
That's interesting, guys. That's interesting. Okay, so I want to ask, like, do you really think, because I know some courses require you to have placement in, let's say, when I came into the UK, I know that when I was in environmental management, I had the option of maybe if I come in September, I will have placement. And then if, let's say, I come in January, because I came in January, I won't have placement.
Yeah.
But now that you're saying that, that means majority of people who are actually trying to get stay, you should go for a course that will give you placement, because when you have that placement, you have more work experience, and that can also give you opportunity to get a job.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. I never knew that.
It really leads to retainership, because a lot of those roles, for example, all those placements, they actually like, sometimes they just retain you. It's like, and a lot of times when you're actually done with uni and you're trying to apply for like senior roles or whatever, have you ever seen roles where they say it's a graduate role or an entry role, but one of their requirements is like 3 years of experience? That's so fun. It's like, where did they expect you to get it from? But the best path towards getting that is to do placement. It's like, at least that way you have some form of experience, and it also helps you academically, because it's like, whereas they're teaching, like your colleagues, they'll be teaching them things like theory and stuff in their books, you've actually practiced, so it's like, it gives you like greater appreciation. And a lot of students actually struggle with like passion for what they do, because they actually just don't understand the implications of what they're learning. That's a good example as well.
That's good stuff. Okay, now talking about placement now, because I have a friend who came into the UK, was it early this year, and then he's struggling to get a job. But now I'm thinking, because in my time, I think getting a job was kind of like easy, but I don't know if it's still the same process, because I'm thinking of, if you get a nice CV, put it on Indeed or maybe like Total Job Search or something, and then you just click, because mine, I was doing click, and less than 2 weeks, I actually got a job. Another of my friend again, who came last year into the UK, actually got a job before even coming into the country. But I'm just thinking, like, I know a lot of people still struggle to get a job. So what do you have to say about that? Because is it that maybe their CV is not good enough? Is that maybe they don't have NI, that's national insurance number? Or is it because of maybe they are just not pushing enough?
Okay, so I think it's subjective, and there's like there are multiple reasons why this could happen. For example, the most common one is actually just a genuine lack of effort, because you can actually deceive yourself into thinking that you're applying a lot of effort into what you're doing, but realistically you're not. And I fell victim to that, because if you're, for example, you apply, let's say you apply for like 3, you really worked really hard for those 2 weeks, writing those cover letters, writing that CV for like a whole 1 week, and then you send it in. When you get the rejection for that particular application, it's going to be so heartbreaking. And then you now internalize that rejection, and it makes you feel like you've worked so hard, but realistically you haven't. It's just to remember that to just keep going. Like, so what I do is I just focus on the end result. And so that's just relating to just the applications. For example, sometimes it's also course related or job related. Some jobs in the market are just more advertised than others, and some require less experience, less, like, for example, medicine, for example, in the UK, it's so I don't think I know a single like Nigerian or international student, for example, that came to the UK to study medicine that went back home. It's like those are those kind of, like, another up and coming one is IT.
That's true.
For example, it's like they're looking for software developers everywhere, but you can't come here, for example, and maybe you're looking for let's use something that's not as common. For example, like my role, for example, it's like aerospace is like, how many times did you hear about aerospace jobs being advertised? It's very rare. So for you to find a job about that, you have to be like you have to be so excellent in what you're doing that you stand out. If you don't stand out, then you have to be in a market where it is plenteous.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's why I say there are multiple reasons. Like, you really just have to do your research. It's not always about you, but the important part is just to just keep trying.
Yeah, because
put your head down and keep
because
trying.
that friend I'm talking about, he's studying law.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
That's a tough one as
that's
well.
a
in
tough
the
one.
UK.
You know
Oh,
like
it's,
this.
it's tough. So my brother studies law as well. It's so interesting because I know so many people that are studying law in the UK, and they're finding it very challenging because I believe that, okay, this is very important, especially for the law students that are coming internationally. The UK does not really see your international experience as like the same. And you should know this because the laws might not apply.
Different,
Yeah, like, so you need experience in uni. That even makes that placement opportunity that you might have in uni in the UK super important. Like, if you can volunteer in the UK, volunteer. If you can do like placement in the UK, do it. But don't just graduate with a law degree, because if you just graduate with a law degree, it's gonna be so challenging. I know 1 in 10 like that have got 1 in 10 that have gotten a job, and that's because he was like top tier elite of his class, distinction and everything. Like, other than that, I really don't know.
Yeah. I was going to say something about that because I know that someone who definitely had a placement, I think is more expensive than maybe you are doing a course that does not have a placement. So let's say maybe because you can't afford the course that have a placement, or maybe you missed that period. I know, yes, it's not just over. So what you're saying right now is, if you can even volunteer, that also gives you that edge. Because I know, yes, we are after the money, but if I'd known this before, studying my course, I would have just like, you know what, maybe the first 6 months or so, let me just start volunteering myself for like all those things and get that experience. Because one thing in the UK that I've come to realize is it's all about experience.
100%.
That's it. And when you don't have that experience, then what are you going to say?
That's true.
Okay, that's fine. So moving on, I'm going to say something about making friends, because a lot of people, when they come into a new country, they kind of like just isolate themselves. They want to be by themselves. But I think from my personal experience, I think that is not helpful. So if you can definitely have friends who will push you maybe to that goal that you want, friends that have the same vibe, friends that give that positive energy and everything, it's also good. Because during my time, I did a little bit of biology, and even if I know some basic foundation of biology, but if it wasn't my friend, I'll be like, okay, you know what, you do this, you do that, and everything. Trust me, there was one assignment I had in biology that I didn't know anything about it. Like, but it was just both of us. I just had to sit down in the library, that's LRC, and then we're like, okay, let's just do this stuff. It took us almost like 4 days to actually finish that assignment because I had to glue different diagrams in my room. So every day I wake up, I'm just seeing those diagrams because I'm like, I don't know, like I can't get it, but that technique actually helped me, because even when I was doing the examination, I came out with a B. I was like, wow. So I mean, having friends definitely help, right?
100%.
Okay, that's good. So what would you say about people who have is it possible, first of all, to have your national insurance number before coming in, or you have to be in the UK before having that?
That's an interesting one. You might want to fact check this information, but I think relating to, because my brother just came in recently, and I know I had to wait for him to come in before we got it for some various reasons. I can't remember why, but I think you might need to come in here. You might need to come in here, but you should definitely prioritize getting it, because like most jobs, if not all the jobs I've applied for, they constantly the more serious it gets, even if they don't ask for it up until the end, the moment they are like, okay, you have the job, they ask you, all right, send me your national insurance number, because a lot of times they do like DBS checks, like they do like background checks before they employ you, which helps the employers to know more about you, like your credit history and so on and so forth, like even your criminal records and stuff. So they actually require this information. So you definitely need to prioritize getting it. So once you come here, just like make sure you apply for it. It's not like I applied for mine in 2016, and I've had it since the whole time. Just all I do is I just update the address when you move, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, because in my time, I had the opportunity of getting it before coming. But now I think what's happening right now in the UK is that maybe as year rolls by, it becomes a little bit.
Things are becoming so much like so interesting. I think the UK is still one place that has like, I don't want to like put like a dark cloud.
Yeah.
It's a place with like a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
But it's just a place that as time goes by, you just need to be more planned and methodical, and you have to actually follow the information that's been provided. Forget about the old school gist of how the UK used to work. If you don't come here with like a new mind and a new approach, it's gonna be so tough. So,
I think that's right. And also trying to understand the system. Because a lot of us, when we come into like a new environment, we just want to be like, let me just isolate myself. I don't need to learn the language. I don't need to understand the people. I don't even need to know my rights. Because a lot of friends that I've come across, they actually fall victim because they don't know their rights.
This is true.
And in the UK, everything is just black and white in the system. So if you go to the website gov.com, you could just check it out. So I'm like, why are you not reading it to know your right about it? Because now when you fall a victim, that's when you want to go and read now and find out. And to me, it's actually too late. Because I'm like, why? I think there was, before asking the next question, so let me just say this. I think there was a time where I was actually staying with a couple of friends, because there was like the opportunity of you renting your accommodation as a group. And then my neighbor was always complaining about noise. And we're like, we're not making noise. It's just normal conversation over the phone and everything. And then she actually reported us to the police. And on that statement, she was saying that it was phone call noise. And I was like, are we not meant to make calls in our own house that we paid for? So the police came over, actually did their investigation and everything. And they said they have to put like a noise device in the room, in each room. And then, but they said if there was no alarm, or maybe when they come back to check and everything, then they're gonna take it off. But it was so funny how even the next day, I actually saw her. She was still smiling, but I was like, but this is a phone call stuff. But long story short, I realized that there is like I don't know the amount or how they measure it, but there is like a number of noise you are not meant to make. But that device never even beeped. You get me? And then they came, pick it up.
Isn't
and everything.
Also like a time range, like at some point, like in the, I think it's like past 10 p.m.
Exactly.
That's like past 10 p.m. or is it 11 p.m. like you're not allowed to make noise anymore.
Exactly.
But before that, like you can actually like have like parties in your room.
I'm telling you, exactly. And then I was so happy because it was still within our right. And I was like, thank God I was able to read and check to know my rights in that place, because the way she came, it was so aggressive. I'm like, why? It's a phone call. I mean, what do you expect? Is this like a ghost land or something?
I've experienced my fair share of that as well, honestly.
Okay, that's good. So now we're gonna go to the next question, which is gonna be on how do you what is your advice? So this is the last question. So I don't want to take a time. So what is the advice you give to people who actually are coming in for the first time? I mean, in terms of, do they have to maybe pack a lot? Is it going to be like pack a lot of food stuff? Or is it going to be like pack a lot of clothes? Or is it going to be like, okay, you know what, don't pack at all. Just come and buy some stuff here, because I have an experience about that. so
my story is funny as well.
So when you say yours, I'm going to say that, and then we're going to end. So over to you.
Okay, so honestly, this is a bit of a bias, right? It's a bit of a personal opinion, but I would say you should start practicing the conservative lifestyle from before. So you should have the conservative mindset before you come in. If not, by the time you come here, you'll be conservative by force. Right? So I came in here like very young. Like I was like barely turning 16. So imagine I come here, my dad like gives me like £1,000 or something, which back then was like
a lot
of money. It's like, wow, £1,000. And I was like a young boy that just came from Kano. What did I know about £1,000? For me, the biggest store back then was Primark. So I went to Primark and I spent £900 in Primark.
Wow.
Like I just blew my whole money. And then I remember I called my dad and I was telling him my dad was like, oh, so I should use my money and do this. I said, but I only have £100 left. He lost his mind. Wow. So it's like, if I need, so my advice in simple cases is relax. Like when you first come in, relax. Assess your situation, right? So get used to knowing what stores are the expensive ones, stores are the cheap ones, like knowing the difference between prices in Aldi and in Asda, it makes a huge difference in your groceries at the end of the day, because that's the difference between £90 to £20
Exactly.
in your total grocery shopping. And but when you're coming, definitely bring like essential supplies. You might not need to bring something as simple, unless you're like a close-up addict. Like you can bring close-up, like that's fine. But bring like the things that you really, really need from Nigeria. Because my mom was there, my mom's an angel for that. She really like, I had more Indomie than I could count, and I really fell back on that Indomie of times. Like I mean, you can bring stew and other stuff to really settle you down at the beginning. But even as a student, you should definitely learn how to cook. That's also very important.
Definitely know how to cook.
Take that initial, because the beginning of your academic time is going to be very easy. Like it's going to be a bit relaxed. So take that time to really acclimatize as fast as possible.
And that part is actually tricky.
Yeah.
Because now that you made mention of it, I remember like, when you're having like in a new system, you are like, you write some answers and your lecturers will come to you and be like, okay, I mean, you are correct, but if you do it this way, and where I'm from, it should just be, am I correct or not? Don't tell me you are correct and you know deep down I'm not correct and then you do it this way. So I like that fact, because when you think everything is all smooth and rosy, you just feel a little bit relaxed academically, and before you know, they give you lots of assignments and you're like, what's going on there? It's crazy. So in a way, just to add to what you say, is anyone who's coming into the UK, just know that it's a different system. So just like you said, just have that mind frame of you want to just acclimatize, you want to just understand the system and then do what they are doing. Don't feel a little bit laid back, don't feel a little bit too fussy or too fussy. Just make sure that everything you do is just part of the flow. So you don't just get into there and you're actually like, wow, what's going on here?
Can I also add something?
Go on.
One like, I think I was talking to someone about this today actually. One very important point is to always remember your goal. And this is something that I think the Nigerian parents watching this might really enjoy, because this is where they will say, let me go and show my son this video. Let me go and show my daughter this video. But always remember your goal, because my dad is someone that was really hammering on focus a lot. It's like, it depends, like, your goal will kind of determine how it is you react to the circumstances that come your way. So you can come in here and like, the only way you'd really come here and like scatter body would be if you come here and like, you just want to have fun. So all of a sudden you're just like blowing your money. Going up and down. Like that's when things become very tough. But if your goal is like, I want to succeed, I want to get this, I want to get that. The next question is how? Is how do I get to this point? How? So, and this how will keep propelling you to do the things that you need to do. It's like, I need to make sure that I finish with a first class. Because there's a difference between, for example, even me that came here in my undergraduate, and me that came here in my master's. Unfortunately, I didn't do that as well as I wanted to in my undergraduate. And I typically don't like saying the story, but I'm just saying it because it might be relevant to somebody. But my undergraduate, although there were like circumstances that led to it, I unfortunately finished with a TT. And that led to, I couldn't see the consequence. My first year was fine. Second year became very tough, and I didn't handle it well. And I couldn't see the consequences of the little things I was doing at the end until when I finished uni and I was trying to apply for jobs, and it was the most impossible thing I've ever. It's already tough for an international. Then you now remove like 50% of the jobs that only take 2-1 and above.
Sometimes it can be depressing.
It was absolutely harrowing. Like, so now that's another reason I had to go back to Nigeria. So when I was now coming back the second time, the goal I should have had in my first time, and I had it now, but now the goal was different, because this was like, I have something to prove. So it's like, you should really just start. Don't let it be negative before you come that way. Come with like, focus on what you need to do. And when I came the second time, when I say like, that was the only thing I did. And ironically, even while I was doing it, I haven't got an opportunity to serve as an intern. While I was doing it, it's like everything just started working in alignment with my goals, because that's all I could see. Everything was just an opportunity for me at this point. And thankfully to God, I finished with a distinction in my master's. And that's just, you see what I mean? Like, that's the difference between having a goal and not having one. So it's like, that's very important as well.
That's fine. So we're going to end here, and I know I said I'm going to ask you the last question, but let me just throw this like for the viewers watching this. So would you say coming to the UK is difficult or impossible for you to achieve great success as an international student? Would you say that? Or What's your take on that?
I don't think it's impossible personally. I'm standing here as a check me in 5 to 10 years time, and we will have a different conversation about this.
Okay.
Because I will be the proof that it's not difficult.
So that means
just like everybody else.
5 to 10 years time, you'll be coming here to say that again.
Of course,
I like that. I like that. You're confident about that. Yeah, because for me, I know I've been here for like a long time. And when I hear a lot of students saying, oh, you know what, I just regret ever coming here. Because one thing is that I feel, this is my own personal opinion, I feel when a lot of people come here, they come with the mindset of they want to change the system.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, this is not your system. This is a different system. So you accept the system and try to see how you can work from here. Because I know sometimes it can be difficult, but it's not that impossible. Because one thing I find myself is every job I get. Now, I'm not trying to be proud, okay? I give thanks to God, but every job I get involved in, I find myself becoming a manager in that.
Yeah.
I've been in 3 jobs now, and within 6 months or let's say 7 months max, I become a manager.
Yeah.
But then it's just because of I come with a mindset of, first of all, let me accept the system and let me see where I can improve and where I can be better for my own self, and let people see that in me, than coming into a system and maybe complain about the weather, complain about the price, complain about everything. And I'm like, why are you complaining? I mean, this is not your system.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, a lot of people do that, and then I feel that's where they kind of like feel a little bit depressing, because you want to change something that has already been mapped out.
Yeah.
So why are you trying to like change it? Because if you're saying the weather is too cold, then why are you coming here?
Yeah.
You get it? Exactly. If you say
so
the price, you can't afford it, then why are you coming here?
Yeah.
So everything about it is like they just want to complain and change things, and I'll be like, no, stop complaining. Always find the positive way. Like I said earlier, I know it can be difficult, but there are other people who are making it.
That's true.
So thank you for your time, and viewers, if you have loved this content, let me know your comments in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe. I actually say that in the end. I think I should be saying that in the middle part. But anyway, guys, if you love this content so far, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And I see you in the next video. Bye.